camera. I don't know. Can you see the double image there? It's pretty bizarre. If you can't see it, maybe it's just me. I've got a screen protector on my phone that needs to be replaced, I think, so perhaps that's got something to do with it. Right, there we go. So, as most everybody knows, a Free Richard Allen, or Richard Allen is Innocent group, has released the video from Libby's phone. Do you know what? Look, this weird double blurry thing. I might just, I don't know, I need someone to tell me if they can see it or if it's just me. I don't know what they thought it would do for their cause, so to speak. Hi, person that is in here, would you mind just saying, can you see the double image reflection? Or is that just something I can see in my phone screen as I look at it? Because if you guys see it as well, I'll actually sign out and come back in. Maybe it's two people that don't want to. Well, maybe there's one like, so maybe someone will tell me in chat if you're seeing the double image. Probably doesn't really matter. I'm going to not be too long, hopefully. So we know that a group released, I can't remember the name of the group, you'd be able to find it easily. Go to the source, download this video for yourself, which is it's known as the Bridge Guy video. It's 43 seconds long, as we've always been told it is. 43 seconds long, taken on Libby's phone, which, yes, is the phone that was found at the scene. I know people try to raise all sorts of doubts about, hey, it wasn't even actually her phone because she had a different model, it had a different case. No, the current phone, or the phone that Libby had at the time in the case that she had, it was on there. It's the phone found in the scene. I know it's really disappointing when there's not enough images taken and that we see, and I don't know how to make chat subs only, but that's all right. Yeah, there's so many things that just leave us open to being frustrated, confused, not understanding things clearly enough. And obviously there's a lot of stuff that comes in and will fill up those gaps for you, and other people will put their narrative in and fill up those gaps in your brain for you. So it's very important not to do that. And I think we should consider bias, okay, because there's been a lot of, hey Kat, are you not a moderator on here? Why not? Oh, this is your other channel. How do I, there we go. So see people that are saying low. Oh, you lost it completely, Kat. Far out, man. People just do not like, it's like only some people are allowed an opinion, right? And I'm sorry to hear that. You had many, many years of advocacy, of, following cases, reporting cases, really truly going for justice, and you're the one that loses a channel. It's just the pettiness is out of this world. So I've made you a moderator. You don't have to stay. I know you might not be able to stay or anything, but if you want to just take care of those comments, that would be lovely while you're here. All right, let's move on. So bias causes people to constrict and distort info they receive, understand, and consider. Unchecked biases prevent proper understanding of another's thoughts and feelings, which is the very essence of empathy. And obviously tribality, is that a word, comes into things here, doesn't it? To look and act and think as others do. Funnily though, terrorists often score high on empathy, but the thing is, thanks Kit, the thing is that they just have empathy for their own tribe only, right? And something we've got to recognize as human beings and as the primitive animals that we are, is that we are tribal. So it's harder and harder as we live in these more melting pot worlds. We haven't advanced out of into a real melting pot mindset. Anyway, so tribalism comes into it, okay? If people don't want to be influenced, if they want to remain in their bias also, they will start focusing on everybody's differences. Even with someone that, they were aligned with before and they ignored differences, they'll now start really focusing on them. Self-awareness. Okay, so if you're unaware of your biases and you can't keep them in check, and if you're aware, you must, when you're unaware of that you're biased, because you've just been gaslit for 8 years, for example, you can't then keep your biases in check, and you're not motivated to do so. And if you are aware of them, you really need to be motivated and have a desire to be fair, and empathy leads to fairness. Bias is an unfair personal opinion that influences your judgment. Biases cause people to constrict and distort the information they receive, understand, and consider. Okay, so the more constricted and distorted the info heard, understood, and considered, the more impaired will be the thinking involved. So without self-awareness, you cannot develop empathy. So getting to this BG video, okay, around it, we're hearing commentary and comments and having videos made that, that it's an animation, it's too high quality for the era. No, when I look at some of my videos, either posted or not on different phones that I had at the time, they're way better than this phone, for example. Super crispy. And I'm going to talk about pixels soon. A comment, oh, BG, more like BCGI, because now's the time to quip. Now's the time to quip. Make jokes, make light. Chelsea's a good one for this. Chelsea, aren't you, Chelsea? With all her comments. Oh, they were not scared, LOL. Oh, yes, do LOL, Chelsea. LOL about the last moments of two teenagers' lives. Because it's super funny. Super funny that they weren't, I don't think they were scared right then, but oh boy, they sure were a little bit later. Wow. So it's animated, oh, it's faked. TCD says, I am baffled that people with law degrees can't recognize videos as blatant computer animated reenactments. She's just baffled. It's not fake, Kit. That's right. Oh, the jeans look painted. Do you know how many screenshots I've got to show that there are plenty of videos with people wearing jeans that look exactly like Abby's? Okay? Because people don't even bother having a look. Just like saying, oh, look, there's no shadows. There's no shadows, only just down off the bridge, but not when on the bridge. You can clearly see Abby's shadow moving with her. Hello, Elizabeth Gregory. You know, and and they're talking away with a still shot of a picture of Abby with her shadow. But the bias is so strong and powerful. They're so brainwashed that they can't, everyone loses their openness. They lose their empathy for these girls. They talk about it as if it's all about Abby and Libby, but they don't have any empathy because their beliefs, everything that they've been saying and feeling and what they want to feel and what they want to believe takes precedence over being open. Hi, Rick. I did try putting some noise. I've only got noise cancelling. Hi, Mustang. You guys are we've just started, and I was just reading some things, notes I'd made about bias and self-awareness, because I think that's key here to a lot of what we're experiencing around this video. I mean, well, clearly it is. Yeah, listen to what's being said and listen to everything. I tried putting noise cancelling earplugs in, earphones, and I just find it too distressing, because when Rick Allen says down the hill, it just gives me chills. It's terrifying. People are saying they're not scared. Oh, there's no crying. There's no begging. Oh, it's normal. Oh, it's normal. Oh, there's nothing scary about this. Oh, those aren't Abby's legs. Those legs are thicker. Again, did they even go and have a look? You see those little stick legs? Can you guys see the double vision and the blurriness and everything that I'm seeing on my screen, or is that just me? Let me know. Oh, that's another thing, Elizabeth Gregory. Oh, no, these are really young girls. That's not little. Or, they'll put Libby. Erin M. Town, that fat cow, loves Libby. Or maybe because it's Brie, she'll say. It's so disrespectful to these girls that these people have no ability. Oh, I'm not saying they don't have imaginations, because clearly they've got imaginations, right? But they have no ability to go through that situation. It's like that there's no connection whatsoever. And some people, this isn't even good enough. They actually need to see the girls being murdered, and then maybe they'll believe what happened. Burn After Reading, Kat, do you know his channel, Rick's channel? He's got an amazing channel. You must know. Maybe you're just saying you like his name, but yeah, it's a really great channel. So if you can, you could link it. Yeah. What else? Where's the rest of the video? Even though we've known for 100 years, that there's 43 seconds. Oh, they're together. Bridge guy and the girls and maybe someone else. They were all together. They're all there together. Well, they write it off like, well, the girls were planning to go down the hill anyway. Yeah, they're planning to go down the hill because maybe, okay, Abby's had to cross the bridge for the last half with this creepy guy behind them, giving them the ick and the feels in a really bad way. And don't forget to put your own there too, Kat, your own. And terrifying to go back. The first time you cross it, you can see that she's quite ginger when she's crossing where there's missing planks. And Libby has probably said, don't worry, look, we can get back. Maybe they even wanted to just get down onto the private drive and call Derek and say, hey, can you come around this side and pick us up? And they were planning on just getting down the drive. I don't think people understand humans very well, or they, they just block it out and go with their own narrative because they just feel, they love the feeling that they get when they are talking a certain way, and they can't imagine, they don't know enough about all the mechanisms that go on, these very complex social interactions and human physiological responses and things like that, like flight, fawn, freeze and fight. And to say that they should be seeing begging or just girls running away right in that moment before the video ends is absolutely ignorant. God, my blood is boiling. The only thing, this is another quote, the only thing that surprises Libby is, because they put the quotes around, because it's Kelsey, remember it's Kelsey, it's not Libby. Number one, it's Libby's voice, and it's Libby, okay? It's Libby. It's Libby that was slaughtered in the woods minutes after this video ends. Probably less than half an hour. The only thing that surprises Libby is hearing her step-grandpa's voice out of a walkie-talkie or similar to her left. What we see in the video is influenced by 8 years of gaslighting by the state. Oh, the irony. This person, this commenter, just doesn't understand irony. Influenced, yeah, who are you influenced by, commenter? In my opinion, they're not scared. It sounds like they're with the men. That was a doozy, wasn't it? They're going down the hill anyway, and they don't seem scared, or they don't seem concerned to me. Oh, it almost seems like they're going with BG willingly. Just fucking wow, So, with regards to people saying about the quality of the video, well, obviously, an iPhone at that era, and I had one at that era too, God, it was just smashing. It took amazing videos and photos, the crispness. But they'll say, so why is it so crisp? Look at these stones, look at these pebbles. Oh, apart from for some reason saying why are these things dry. But anyway, look at this, look how crisp, look at the detail. Oh, but then suddenly bridge guys, not clear. Okay, so they don't understand pixels. Okay, so the pixels are in two dimensions, and up close, the pixels, there's a lot of pixels for a small area for detail. It's the same amount of pixels, say, looking at in the distance, say at a tree, there's not 1,000 pixels somehow, pixels don't warp to what they're seeing and say, well, that tree in the distance, I'd better cluster my pixels over there so that when you zoom in, it looks really crisp, just as crisp as down here. Pixels they're not three-dimensional like that and moving with the zoom and everything, okay? They're two-dimensional, like a lot of people that are making these sorts of comments, two-dimensional. And so, everything up close, you've got a certain amount of pixels in this sort of area. So up close, there's detail. When you zoom in onto a tree, each pixel is having to cover a meter or something like that, right? Depending on how far you're looking. And certainly the technology, and definitely an iPhone 6, would make exactly that type of film. Exactly that type of film. And if you can't understand that, then maybe you shouldn't be commenting about video quality. Oh, it's just, I wish I could have screenshotted it. I was watching, and I just couldn't watch anymore. But, watched a few times just trying to capture BG, in the unedited version. I swear for a minute, I got a jolt. I couldn't recreate what I'd seen, what I saw, but I got a jolt. I just felt like I just saw Rick Allen's face in there. I don't know. I know minds can play tricks, but I just felt like I just knew it was just something about the plane. Yeah. But I've always believed that he was anyway. Oh, thanks, Rick. Most people won't, because I get a lot of hate watchers and lurkers. I don't mind hate watchers or lurkers. Everyone's welcome. It's just that it's nice when someone can be here that is a moderator, because I like to keep comments nice. I'm the one that makes the horrible comments. You see Richard Allen too, Mustang. Yeah. So what do I think about this video and what's happening? So what I think it's showing is, I think Richard Allen has left the platform and he's gone back onto the trail, maybe hung around a little bit there wondering what he should do, was maybe going to pace up and down this little bit of trail, because I think since 2006, when he knew about this bridge, so as I've said before, Richard Allen's history goes right back with this bridge, goes right back to the year that he moved to Delphi, when in 2006 a Clean Up the Trails event was organized and his workplace participated, and he was aware of the area, the CPS building, the mayor's parking lot, the trail, the Monon High Bridge. I think he's been fascinated with it ever since. I think he's spent many, probably, thousands of hours out there, hundreds if not thousands. And thanks, Elizabeth. That means a lot. And Rick. So I think he's, like a lot of killers, he's scoped out an area, fantasized about it. Who knows what's gone down at his mom's house when he's decided not to have lunch but to go and drink beer. Maybe someone mentioned snow day, because his daughter, B, is well out of school by this time. Okay, she is a few years older than Libby and Abby. Who knows? He leaves, he buys a 6-pack, he goes home to get a coat. People scoff at Libby wearing that black sweatshirt because it was a little bit chilly. And thank you, Mustang. No, not all the time. And I'm pretty, people find it difficult to understand me or to gel to me because I seem to have all these opinions that oppose each other. But the thing is, you can believe this thing and this thing and this thing. You can understand that corruption exists. You can think that the investigation was screwed, etc., etc. And you can also believe that this is Richard Allen, or bridge guy on the bridge. Libby filmed it on her phone, and these girls were kidnapped from there, taken across the creek and murdered. And you don't have to align with a group, to feel, to gather this tribe around you in a protective blanket. So you get this false sense of security. And I say false sense. You should have a false sense, because people that are cutthroat like that, don't worry. Don't you worry, people. When you're in that sort of tribe, that sort of political agitator activist movement, don't worry. You can soon be on the outer, just like that. They'll start finding your differences rather than your commonalities. Believing in Richard Allen as the murderer doesn't mean that you can't, hey, believe in some conspiracies, because of course, you're not being written off as a conspiracy theorist because you won't believe what's right in front of your face and you have to see the girls murdered right in front of your face before you believe it. No, that's not why. It's your laziness. It's the fact that you're throwing a can of this conspiracy paint over everything. There's no finesse, no sophistication to what you are thinking. So that's why you can lie to yourself. You can literally be watching Abby walk across the bridge and there's a shadow, and you will say there is no shadow, adding to the belief that you think this is a fake animated video. Okay, so hey, this account. So I think that he's left the platform. He's walked down the trail a ways. Abby and Libby have walked up this way. It's good to see you too. I feel like maybe I haven't seen you for a while. He's let them get far enough onto the bridge, because maybe if they'd only gone out to the first platform and he'd walked on, too easy for them to feel like they can double back and get off. He hasn't trapped them, right? We know, we can imagine. Well, some people can imagine. You have to want to imagine it, right? You can imagine that there's a distance, probably halfway, right? Probably after the Snapchat photo was taken of Abby on the third platform, well, with Liberty on the third platform taking a photo of Abigail, okay? Hence why he's not in the video, 63 feet behind at that juncture, because he's not a stupid predator. I mean, all predators, they're stupid, aren't they? Because, anyway. And maybe, I haven't seen it. I don't even know if I'd heard of it before, of Liberty lying down on the bridge and a photo of her. But that makes sense, that they take one of each other. And I think that's when Richard Allen has moved very quickly up behind them, forcing them to continue on, forcing them to, and I think they have been feeling uneasy, unsure. Abby certainly couldn't wait to get off that bridge. She runs off once there's a little bit of ground underneath her. He came up behind them, and then he probably stayed at that distance behind them. That's menacing as all fuck. That is menacing. For people to say that it's not, and that it didn't make them uncomfortable, I just don't know what could save you. I feel sorry for people in your lives that you perhaps should love. I worry about the understanding that you give to family, friends, and colleagues about things, because you clearly have none. No understanding. So I know when I'm making videos and I'm just filming, maybe whether I think I'm going to post it or show it to someone or not. Hi, not there yet. It's creepy as fuck. Yeah. I know that I will just narrate it. Oh, so, yep, here's the path. I think Libby really, you know, she didn't want to freak Abby out so much, but she probably wanted to say, fucking hurry, man. But Abby goes running past her, and Libby waits at the spot where you can see it's common for people to walk down, for Libby just to come back to her. And they're trying not to panic. And then bridge guy, Rick Allen, guys, down the hill. It's creepy as fuck. It hits me right here. And still, yeah, now why are they going to be begging? No, you know, slightly older girls, or maybe girls that had had freaky experiences before, who knows, might have given him a bit of lip. Oh, after you, or whatever, but he probably had the gun out and on them then. And so if you can't imagine that moment and imagine just complying, then I really don't think there's any hope for you as a human being with anything to offer anyone. And the way that TCD can be baffled, well, you know, guess what? Those attitudes baffle other human beings. Yeah, it is baffling. It is. I don't think he was trying to be innocuous and non-threatening walking along. No, I think the fear grew. I think the hackles were up on their neck. The sweat was forming. I think they really knew. And I do think that's why Libby was starting to film. When she starts to film, she's got her phone up and she's blocking the view of the phone that she's doing it from the bridge guy, because she's putting Abby in between. She's not just staying where she was and starting up that camera with him being able to see that she's got the phone out and taking his image. She holds it up behind Abby and then she rotates it landscape so that it's shooting wider and it captures him. And then she's holding it down on the ground just as if there is no video. Okay? And she doesn't want to alert him, which is why she doesn't just go and hold him in his face, you know, because if she had done that, he would have lunged right then and there or something. That's what I know that it's something in the situation I might do like that, because I know I'm actually going to run, I'm going to fight. Libby wouldn't have been able to imagine what, yeah, anyway. So another thing I think is, I do think the courts were misleading and they didn't need to plant earworms in the jury of that a gun. Now, I thought maybe one of the words was just sort of mouthed or cracked. It didn't come out in fair. You know, could that be a gun? But having listened to this video, I think that it's just Libby finishing the sentence about, you know, that's the path that we go down, that we go down. It's just the way she says it, that we go down. And I don't believe she's saying, is that a gun? I don't know what Abby has said about don't leave me or anything like that. I'm not sure of that, but I'm sure that's exactly what she was feeling. Was don't just start off without me, and Abby didn't. Perhaps if Libby didn't. Perhaps if Libby had just hurled herself down the hill, Abby would have had no chance but to follow. And would Rick Allen have been able to catch up enough to utilize the weapon? He would have been forced to shoot. If they had just scarpered down that embankment onto the private drive and just run, he would have been forced to shoot. So he would have had to just quickly try and get back across the bridge, running risk of being seen exiting the area. The girls would have reported that some creepy guy tried to you know, kidnapped them, however they would have described the incident, and there would have been a lot more eyewitnesses, and yeah, that's what I think. And I do think they were scared. Yeah, I think, and I don't know if it's just the weather and that's causing Libby to sniffle, but she could be trying to hold it together and is getting upset. I'm not sure. I don't think she's whispering to anybody off camera, off the view or anything like that, and I think it's perfectly natural just to whisper away to yourself. She's trying to release her terror or her building unease, trying to remain calm and act normal. She's, you know, because there is a thing you don't want to, you know, it's one of these social things where, oh, especially adult and child, where don't want to, you don't want to be rude, right? You don't want to be rude and act like someone's scary. And what if they're just a person? But deep down, they know, right? Just a spectator. BG must have made them turn back and go that way. That's the vibe of the video. What do you mean turn back? He's not in front of them. He's always behind them. He's always behind them. I believe he's come onto the bridge after they have entered the bridge and has come off the bridge and told them to go down the hill. And he wouldn't have come around because he doesn't want to risk them getting back onto the bridge. Then that's again, he's in the situation where too late now, he can't. He would have to do something right out in the open and cause a scene, and that's not going to happen. High necessary evil. She whispers on the bridge. So yeah, right. So you can see Abby's mouth moving. Yeah, and I think she probably is saying, "Is he still there?" sort of thing, isn't she? Is he right there? And she would just feel his presence, and you'd probably hear on those boards as well, possibly. And he's moving, the purpose that he's moving with, it's revolting. And it is revolting to say that this is not authentic. And it's even more revolting to, hi, you just got here. Yeah, hi. Thanks for being here, everybody. Yeah. The reasons that they bring up are so weak. And of course, we've got Eye of Apophis. It's animated. I have talked through another case, through the Morphew case, about this thing called killology. If you don't think that people, it's like people think all this weaponized mind fuckery isn't being used on them. It's like, oh, this is skills that someone's got to use on enemies of the state, to use on foreign lands, to use to, but not on us in the true crime community, not on us, on Americans, not on us for shits and giggles. And now, this person is really stuck. It's like it's like the series Lost. It kicks off. It's, wow, really interesting. I can't wait to hear what this person actually is going to say. You know how Lost is never solved, and it's just one more ridiculous thing after the other. And and that's what's happening with those manipulators. Now, I'm not saying, do I like Kelsey's personality and the way that she, sorry, I know this will make a lot of people that have supported me be very upset with me, maybe turn their backs on me, but do I like it? No. Do I think she communicates well? No. I think she's shithouse at it. Does it cause a lot of problems? Yes. Does it make people go, huh? Yes, because she does it. It's a fact, okay? But does that mean that she has been involved in this cover-up of a murder, a satanic murder of her sister Liberty, and that this is her in the video. It's clearly not her voice. People that seem to hate Kelsey so much and analyze everything, they don't really have a really good ear, do they? Kelsey's voice is wet. It's wet. It's not. Libby's voice is and this is how people, they look at Liberty's physicality and they are so shocked years and years later, even when they could easily have heard. She's a very softly spoken girl, very gentle with her delivery. Most Delphi people following Delphi have understood this and known this all along. People are shocked that she's got a soft voice. They thought she'd sound all like, I don't know what, right? But I have asparagus up there. I like that. That's cute, just the spectator. Now look, just like with other you've got the Marxists against this, the elites, so the Satanists, right? These are natural enemies, okay? So kind of makes sense that, you've got these strong groups, in this case, as in the Lucy Letby situation, against, because that's naturally going to be their view and what they're going to see and the tilt that they're going to put on it. Well, I can say that, and it doesn't mean that I can't understand that satanic ritual abuse doesn't occur, because actually it does. And just ritual abuse or ritualistic abuse, or, abuse intended to warp someone's mind. And the most insidious of that and the darkest of that is when human beings are abused by pure evil pre-verbal. That, is so dark. And that's that. Oh, Snay still probably saying that Bridge Guy is Ron Logan. In my opinion, Bridge Guy is clearly short. You can see just through measurements of, if you laid his little body across where he is, how much of the bridge he would take up. And same with Abby's figure. If you laid her across the bridge at the place where she's standing, they take up the same space. Prof is absolutely a dork. He is a big dork. He's also got a very, I'm not going to say what sort of vibe. Oh my God, just a spectator, stop. Poor Kathy, run, Kathy, run. Uma, little rabbit, get out of there. Although, well, people know what I think about that as well. Yeah, he thinks Bridge Guy is 6 foot tall. Bridge Guy clearly, this is one of the benefits of seeing this full video, is that it does give you perspective, true perspective. And again, people are really blind. Yeah, not there yet. Sisters do often sound similar, but so do mothers and daughters. My sister, her daughter, if they could just come on and off the phone like that, you would not know. And sisters often sound the same but slightly different. They have their own speech patterns and things like that. And I think mothers and daughters tend to sound more similar to than sisters, to be honest. But yes, good point. Let me just scroll back a little bit here. Necessary, yeah, and their psyops. What a joke they all are with their psyops. It is, of course it is not there yet. It's absolute instinct to be on guard when in that situation that they were in, going across that bridge. And yeah, so, BG, I study body type. If you study Kibbe body typing, it's about the bones and the flesh and the way bones lay on flesh. And Bridge Guy is sharing the body type, the proportions of Richard Allen. It's so clear. Even when you see him walking in that jumpsuit, the yellow jumpsuit, you know. So what else did I want to just say? I wanted to touch on the pixelation and why. Okay. So quite close to Libby is very, very crisp. As you get to Abby when she's further away, obviously when she runs past the camera, she's quite crisp again. Oh, another thing. Oh, look at those jeans around her ankles. That doesn't look right. They're very tight. I mean, they're probably just those very stretchy, you know, those jegging type jeans maybe. That's what they look like, the way the color is, the way the fabric is, you know. Anyway, but the metadata as well, because people are really unsure about, no, but is this the actual one just straight off Libby's phone, or is it some sort of altered one? Well, the metadata would tell you that it's straight off Libby's phone before anything is done to it. Yeah, I wonder what he'd have to say, eh? But it's just, you know, try and step back, look at the people and see what they're saying about these two young girls and their situation. It is absolutely tone deaf. They are scoffing. They are looking at a situation that these girls, they had to live through before something. They can't imagine to be saying, I'm just, Humanimal is speechless. I couldn't even get the words out. You know, it's all in here. Oh, and it's Killer's voice. Yeah, that's right. Just a spectator. No, you can't tell me that that's not Carter. But they don't understand. One minute they're saying, you know, they'll be saying Carter is so many things. It's like, okay, it's like with Lucy Letby when Richard Taylor had a press conference and says one thing about the deaths of a certain baby, and then and you know, that was just like, it's music to the ears of the Letby is innocent crowd, right? Again, lots of Marxists involved in that, and it's music to their ears. But then when Dr. Shu Lee states an entirely different mode of death for that baby, that's music to the ears as well. No one discusses it, addresses it, and thinks, oh, maybe we should look at this and think, wow, yeah, it seems like everything can be interpreted a particular way. Have I really looked at this? Who am I to believe? You know, these, anyway, it's just so, and that's what happens. And they're sort of caught up in this swell, you know, like that old movie, The Wave, how the teacher did an experiment in the high school to show that, you know, anyone could be induced to beliefs that they never thought they would have. And he did it to show how the fascist Nazi movement took hold and how the Holocaust could happen. And Lucy Letby's, it's another thing that the Letby is innocent supporters like to say, liken her treatment to, is the Holocaust. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Burn After Reading Rick says, people need to honour Abby and Libby. They were just innocent girls trying to enjoy a day off with each other. They didn't deserve what happened because Alan is a deranged loser. Amen to that. He is deranged loser. Next, what will happen? Is, the interviews will be released, and they will be as truth-giving, as bold-faced, obvious as this video, but they won't. They'll just act the same way about that as well, because they're too caught up, they're too invested. They don't see how blind they are, how narrow they are, how brainwashed they are. And I would respect someone's view about what happened, whether it's Rick Allen or not, if they didn't make stupid reasoning for it, like not seeing a shadow and pixels and that sort of thing, right? But and if they weren't just being a little repeater about stuff that channels have put into their head, really darkly and purposefully, and yeah, they take away the ability to give them grace, because they don't give Libby and Abby a skerrick of grace, right? They're talking about justice for Abby and Libby to this day, and yet they are scorning and scoffing these little girls, or even saying it's not them, that it's Libby, that it's Kelsey and Bree. I don't like the fact that data wasn't gathered properly, that interviews weren't done quickly enough. I don't like the way there's a lot of mess with timeline and things, but I do know that this video is real, right? It wasn't made after the fact to cover these murders. People don't do this. The audacity. Why would they even think to do that? It would have just been done some other way. The audacity, and so quickly too, unless of course they were plotting. They must have been plotting to kill Libby for years, to come up with this plan, to know exactly how they're going to do it and make this video. Because to come up with this overnight, practically, to get it all done, and to get that Snapchat photo and go there and do, wow, to activate like that, wow, I'm surprised these people aren't running the world, because they're brilliant. The ability to maneuver, It happens in a lot of cases, sadly. And, it just goes back to what I'm always saying. Police work. It's the police work that solves cases. It's the police work that gets convictions. Speaking of deranged. Little deranged dog needed to come inside. Yeah, I'll probably think of other things that I wanted to mention, but what sort of commentary can I make really to add? It's just, I just see a lot of disrespect and a total lack of empathy for Libby and Abby, what they were going through in these moments, and people, it's like there's so much distaste. Oh, they're just so, they really want to see the whole thing. They can't believe that Abby might have, wow, she's got to protect what she has got. Quickly switch that off. That phone has gone in her pocket. Okay? Does that sweatshirt have pockets? That's what I'd like to know. Or it was in the pocket of her jeans, and that's how it's ended up with Abby. So she's probably put it in the pocket of her jeans to protect that little thing that she had there. and maybe manage to be able to make a phone call at some point. She tries, you can tell she tries switching it on again with her thumb. I think that's what they said. There was an unsuccessful attempt at 2:14 to reopen the phone. And I think that's when she's putting it in her pocket. Maybe she just wanted to try to record some audio. We don't know. But hey, do you know what? There are some guesses that are better than others. And how cruel. I mean, it gives grown men and women, it gives them a buzz. They feel good to diminish these girls, to diminish their experience, their psychological anguish, the terror, the physical pain, the utter fear, the knowledge of their impending death. Fucking hell. Ah. You know, they're just going to spin more and more bullshit. They'll come up with other distractions to, you know, to just, they just keep throwing things at, you know, people like EOA, okay? They'll just keep throwing these little things in there to keep people locked in, tangled up, to keep them in that tribe so they don't step back and get some perspective and go, fucking hold on a minute, right? I'm believing 9,137 things now. People want to see how the figurative sausage is made, and that's gross. Sickos want to see all the dirty things. It's not necessary. Just the Spectator's going to change his name, their name. I'm not sorry, I'm not sure what gender, sex you are, to Eye of Asparagus. I think it's got a great ring. And then you can say that, hey, you are just being, playing devil's avocado when you're being reasonable. You know, I'll quite often just be reasonable in chat, or just, I like to counter. As soon as someone says some bullshit, I'll go, actually, no, they said this, or they didn't do that. That didn't happen. And of course, it's not seen as just being measured. It's seen as, you know, something else. It's so ridiculous. Yeah, it's got a nice ring to it for sure. Eye of Asparagus, the asparagus spear of truth. Well, look, I know it's the Lamb of God and the hammer of truth. And you could say I am the hammer of truth. When I was young, very little, I used to think it was, because it's a mondegreen, I used to think it was the ham of truth, the Lamb of God and the ham of truth. I am the year of the pig after all, so yeah. Then I'll upload 700 methed out pictures of lines and blurs and act like I see stuff in them. I know people are still going on about in the creek, the bodies are in the creek. The bodies are not in the creek. They're still insisting that there are 3 shoes. How are there 3 shoes? There's not, there's 2 shoes. Sorry, I'm fidgeting here. It just helps me, you know. Oh, man. True slant, yeah. And they're crafty, okay? They're crafty, those channels, Asparagus, because they don't reveal themselves until just a certain point, until the sort of 3 or 4 videos in. They don't reveal who they are straight away. They know exactly what they're doing and where they're going. Yeah. There are so many things. I mean, there's some videos of people, I can't remember, some of them might be private. Some of them, I think they're still up from years ago, where I openly discuss, hey, let's look at symbolism. Let's look at the Masons. Let's look at things in this town and these structures. And, you know, I'll look at anything, and I'm not naive, and I'm not blocking everything out and saying these things don't exist and this thing isn't just whack. But yeah, I think she is actually a psychopath. Yep. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I know. And now, as a wife, I would be tailoring my husband's clothing. I wouldn't let him walk around like that. But maybe it's just something that people just don't notice. I know there's a lot of people that just don't take notice of details like that, but there's no there's no way. But hey, Kathy, thank God you didn't, because it's yet another tell. It's yet another tell. Those little baggy trousers, just like those chinos that he's seen in walking on the outside of the CVS building to his backed-in car. He's on the security camera there with those trousers that are untailored, buying to fit whatever size he might be at the time, in the waist or hip measurement, and not taking up the leg length. And maybe the styles or the brands that he's buying, they're not available in multi-leg lengths like a lot of brands are. And they need, I don't think so, Mustang. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I think maybe something caught up with him. And he lost his ability to self-regulate. Like a lot of people, like CJ, CJ, that abusive drunk, who would sit on his live and drink, must have been a lot of it, because I think it was Miller Lite or something, vomited live, just vomited. After that, he was obviously in his mother's home, and booted out by his wife, who had no doubt had enough of him over quite some time. And imagine the basement, the stink. Yeah, he continued on with that live. But again, just yet another pawn, though. Yet another pawn. Anthony Greeno tried saying Graz died. Graz, I did hear. Yeah, I remember something like that now, actually. Look, yeah, I think Graz was mentally unstable. He spiraled. I think he was abusing substances or something. And people get too involved in the back back end of things, in the DMing, so to speak, and the discords, and I think it's better not to do that, and because then you're wholly taken over. You get yourself into situations, you think you're sort of making connections, and then suddenly you've got alliances that actually you don't like or want, and people try to infiltrate. There was this idiot called Connor, who I know is a Joe Lewis sycophant, and started just turning up in my comment sections and my lives, and hi, oh, that's interesting. I'm just biding my time, waiting for it. Hey, have you got an email I can contact you on? He wanted to give it to Joe Lewis, no doubt. One word answer: no, never saw him again. Yeah, I mean, clearly, I hope CJ rehabilitates as well, but there's something very off about him. I think there's something very warped about him. I don't like. There's something very uneasy. Just the Spectator says, I said something about grass lately, and Greeno commented that I was a POS for talking about a dead man. Greeno lies about, well, because he has a pathological, when you're a sociopath, a pathological lying goes along with it, and it's all about it's very yeah, it's a pathological and parasitic lifestyle, sadly. And I think, you know, when someone has got some talent, and if you can compartmentalize, and if they can just compartmentalize as well. But there's always that time, you know, there's only so far that walls will hold, you know, that dikes can keep things out, you know. A thumb isn't enough. And people reveal themselves in the end, right? That they just do. It's just a matter of time. And Anthony Greeno does have talent, not only just for self-promotion, but, you know, for the video making and for being entertaining with it. And, you know, a very ambitious person, and just wants it. The trouble is it takes a very conscious effort for someone. I'm not saying I know he's got a diagnosis or anything, but the shoe does appear to fit, and it takes that a conscious, it takes the desire to not harm, and it takes the desire, you know, and it takes work and learning to learn how to go through life safe, and to have the self-control to keep your walls up, and actually to keep your barriers up. And actually it means having to have maybe a smaller world, because, you know, your loyalty is going to be to just certain people. No one else matters. But the larger you make that, the people there are to move through and every, you know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn with that, but, you know, I think it's just, it's pretty obvious. And it's pretty obvious how a person like that is created as well, when they suffer with attachment issues from toddlerhood. It's and many other things happen. So, you know, it's not impossible to have compassion, but there are times when, you know, you can't support that professional side any longer, because just things have gone on too much, and there's only so long you can say, well, you know, hey, I don't support everything they do, but, you know, I'm just here to watch this work, or to contribute to this work in some way for justice for these girls, or whatever, and in the pursuit of truth, etc. But I guess, you know, you've got to be principled at some point. But I think, you know, there's people that need to take a lot more accountability on themselves as well for things that have happened in situations and relationships that have gone on. Graz was actually funny at times, yes. Yes, the overuse of AI is really unbearable, and all of the especially the ones, you know, I mean, how would I look if AI did me? God, I don't know. But, you know, the youth, the chiseled features and the suits and things like that, right? It's really feeding into that I'm a hero persona that, you know, someone wants to have. And, you know, I did truly hope that Greeno would somehow have some self-awareness and accountability, and realize that he could create a life on YouTube, or on, you know, online, as a presenter, and as you know, with what he was doing. But if he kept himself in check, and it's just not, it's too difficult for someone to do that. It was too difficult for him. Yes, the AI though, it's unbearable. But you know, I feel like not enough people are stepping back and just trying to have some perspective and to think, well, how do I feel? What are my true feelings? That they're so swept up that they don't realize that they are having views and opinions imposed on them. It's a type of folly, a group. And it's a type of psychological bonding whereby there is, you know, there are the imposers and there being these acceptors and then the repeaters. And I think if enough people could just take a breath for a minute, step back and humanize the victims, the true victims, which isn't Rick Allen, again, you know, they might actually be quite ashamed of what they've done and where they are. And sometimes maybe it's shame that is stopping them from doing this. You know, we've got a doubling down situation, haven't we? Asparagus says, I was hoping Anthony would get in trouble for all the death threats he's made. That shit doesn't get a pass. How can you act like this? Advocate for victims and making the most repulsive threats. Yep, it was the threats and things like that. When I learned, because a lot of it, because I'm sort of out of the loop of a lot of things, and I don't know a lot of these things that are going on behind the scenes with people like Faye and someone named this and all the, I have no idea. So you know, I'm sort of late to the party in that regard, knowing just actually how bad something's got. And then when I've seen that what's been going on is like, I'm going to come there and fuck you and kill your children and then kill you and or whatever. It's like, right, okay, now I know. How can you act like you're an advocate for victims and making, yeah, these most repulsive threats? Well, yeah, exactly. That's what a lot of people are doing, though. They're saying that advocates for Libby and Abby and that, you know, justice for Libby and Abby is important, and they just have no perspective in how hurtful and harmful and how misguided they are fighting for Rick Allen. AI has its place. Yeah, of course it does. And yeah, you use it well, Rick. And it is lazy. And I think overuse of something like ChatGPT is quite lazy as well, to be honest. I don't think I've ever used ChatGPT. I mean, hey, maybe I should, because, you know, maybe my content might change. Look, one day if I ever had, you know, if I got a setup and I got a computer and I paid for StreamYard or Streamlabs and I could present, actually write, direct and edit videos, yeah, my content would be better, but that's not what this channel is. It's never going to be anything different. Yes, so what else do you guys think about the video? Is there anything that I haven't talked about that you noticed that you would like to bring up? Maybe something that we need to look into? And, you know, it's not to say that there's not a lot of activists, say for Lucy Letby, or even, I guess, for Rick Allen, that they really are trying to come from a good place, and they really do believe in the corruption and the setup, you know. But many people, they don't realize that they are just bent over a barrel and being sodomized by a lot of creators and groups. Yep, you're being sodomized and you're being repeaters for them. And then you go out and you tell them how enjoyable it is to be treated that way. Yep, they don't know it. There's no perspective. Only change for your own growth. Yeah, I do try to. I mean, I think people don't understand that I definitely can change my mind. I'm very open to anything new that changes my mind instantly, whether it's for about Libby and Abby's story, Rick Allen, Lucy Letby, anyone that, you know, I talk about here. Very open to seeing things a new way, but people just refuse to accept that about me. Yeah. Yes. So I guess, yeah, I guess we've talked about most of the themes then anyway. But it's so funny that people that believe in a sort of conspiracy, maybe against, well, especially against the Patty family and a satanic, you know, it's funny because they're the same people that are all behind Odinists and then all behind satanic ritual abuse and then all behind the Masons and everything, right? You know, they don't seem to give anything due consideration and just pick one. They go with all of them, right? And just in a never-ending stream. But what was I saying? Sorry, excuse my gurgling. Yeah, I don't know. They should just step back, step out for a little while, because when you're caught up in it, and when you're in an echo chamber, you know, and man, they're so rude. They think nothing of spamming you rudely. Humanimal thinks this and that and the other, and you know, they will say things over and over again and make things up that you've said and misquote you because that's just their personalities. Cyber bullies and trolls are known to be narcissists, psychopaths. They're known to be Machiavellian and sadistic, and they have a modus operandi, and you can see them instantly. It's, you know, the way that it's just a way of reacting. They know they will shut you down. It's aggressive, and they don't care if it's rational or anything. They go hard for that end result, and you know, and act all pious at the same time. I just hate that sort of person. I cannot stand it. It's so, oh, I just hate bullies. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to videos that people make about this. I mean, I'm in two minds, to be honest, about how much we really should talk about it. I do respect Wombat for taking down the video off his channel. He gave his subscribers the chance to see it because some people, you know, they just stay away from a lot of these other channels. And then he's taken it down because it just felt wrong. And I really respect that. I do understand it. I don't think we realize how voyeuristic people just so removed from the emotion of it all, and they want to feel their own emotions instead. It comes back to that idea of outrage porn and of anger porn and of you know, whatever porn you want to say. That's what it comes down to. And their entertainment, they wouldn't see it like that, but their entertainment, their interactions, their needs take precedence, and it's like they just completely are unable to see what, you know, the truth of what they're looking at. Abby and Libby are pawns in their game, in their life, you know. Yeah. Anyway, so do you think I covered sort of the main, oh, it will be because of what's going on, because of the shit that they have to listen to and the videos that are going to be made, you know. I think a lot of people too, they don't understand resilience and what resilience looks like. Do you know what I mean, Rick? Oh, they just went straight on to making that baseball field, didn't they? Like it's a bad thing. Yeah. Anyway, so an hour and 20 minutes. So I want to thank everybody for being here. But particularly Kit and Elizabeth Gregory. If I miss anyone out, I really apologize, Rick. Mustang 65. Sorry, tedious, aren't I? Not there yet. This account. Just a spectator who now is Eye of Asparagus. Well, I hope that happens because that's hilarious. Necessary Evil. I think that might have been it. Who's commenting anyway? A lot of the negative comments I get, you know, after, not in chats, but in the comments or something, it's people that have watched they've watched 30 seconds or 3 minutes. Oh, no, thanks, Rick. Thanks for being here. And yeah, I really appreciate you. So Kit put Burn After Readings channel link. I'm sure most people that come to this channel would know of you. I did make some West Memphis 3 videos. I think I do have a playlist of that, but that would be probably Rick's most in-depth subject for his channel. So well worth a look if you're interested in looking at the case of the West Memphis 3, who I really think the West Memphis 3 should be the 3 boys that died, and then the convicted killers should just be, you know, Eccles, Metcalf, and Jesse, Justin, and Damien. Anyway, yeah, see you later, and hopefully I won't feel the need to make another video on this very sad topic. I just was appalled at some of the comments, so oh Rick, I don't know what you'll think of it, and I couldn't remember what you say, but you know, it's kind of the same thing where I might say something about like oh, they might be pretty blunt, I don't know. And then I get a lot of, you know, you get a lot of the Eccles groupies coming on saying, he saved my life. Yeah. They just don't, they just, again, have no perspective. All right. I always say about 5 goodbyes. Yeah, they're the West Memphis 3. Steve, or Stevie, Michael, and Christopher. They are the 3. Those 8-year-old boys, you know. All right. Take care, everybody. Kia kaha. Remain strong. Be strong. in the face of a lot of BS. You won't hold it against me, thanks. Yeah. And, you know, hope people stand up for Abby and Libby and do stand up for actual justice, you know, which I believe has been served. I wish it was served in a more definitive way where, you know, yeah. I don't think they should have, I don't know. Should they have? I think they didn't release the video because they just simply didn't want the bridge guy to see it. I think that's the bottom line. If people can't see that, your head's a box of rocks, okay? They didn't want bridge guy to know what that video contained, okay? That is a very common procedural thing to do, is to not, you don't just blah all the evidence out there or put it all out. There's always things held back, and it makes absolute perfect sense that the video was held back. I think the audio is better without their enhancements, sadly. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's like the long goodbye. I'm just like, you know, is it Raymond Burr or whatever? No, who wrote that one? But that's me anyway. The long goodbye. So I'm looking forward to seeing. I mean, the defense had opportunity to bring in experts to say that this whole film was fake, and they didn't do that because they can't do that because it's not. Okay, so it has, you know, and all the people that are talking about artifacts, remember there are images in there. There's all the Masonic symbols, there's the teddy bears, there's the dogs, what else is there? There's all them crosses, there's, oh my God, remember that there's the picture, you know, of on the bridge where underneath the bridge you actually see the film crew, the tripod, Libby with an axe in her head. Remember that? An axe in her head. Oh, but these people just smoothly forget that they ever said that they believed that Libby's got an axe in her head, right? They're still wanking on about there being no blood. Where's Abby's blood? And, you know, no one in the chats they purposefully will not correct people when they say things like that, right? Whereas I'll be in there and go, no, there's plenty of blood. There was a mortal amount of blood underneath Abby, and Libby's mortal amount of blood at the tree. But, you know, they don't correct. If it's on the team that they want to be loudest and they want the most false, and then people, they come in there with purposefully putting out that false information too. Don't be fooled. People are doing it all the time. We used to clash Humanimal, but were you always called just a spectator? Were you? Or have you changed your name a few times? See, I don't do that because, but yeah, okay, yeah. Because, you know, if you're being real, if you're just being truthful with what you think and feel, and if you're fact-based and you just want to put it out there, then yeah, there are clashes. But, you know, thank you for being here now. You're very welcome, and you're still very welcome to correct me. I don't want people correcting me. I want people to say, hey, you said this but that. Rick might know, well, you do less lives, I guess, but it's so easy to misspeak. And then later it's just like, oh, duh, of course I said the wrong name or whatever, right? That's just natural. But if you just, if fact matters, yeah, you do. And if you keep correcting people, you know, if you want to be there just to sort of moderate somehow, people don't like it. And that's when they'll gang up on you and they'll bully you. They'll say, "You're not welcome here. Go to another thing that it's like stay in your echo." You know, they think you're in an echo chamber. They go over to your echo chamber. We'll just stay in our echo chamber thing, or we'll do now that Richard Allen is found guilty, it's nothing to do with you. It's like it's more so, right? When oh God. Hi, where are you from? Hello, where are you from? I'm in Australia, but I'm not an Australian. Yeah, they've been in the rabbit hole too long. They've been in the warren, and the warren is just so convoluted. They don't know what way is up anymore, right? Maybe they should dribble down their face onto their face and see which way the spit runs. It's very cultish behavior. They don't recognize that they're in a cult. They don't understand that cult techniques are being used on them. It's too damaging to their psyches and their egos to accept or even start to acknowledge or think about the fact that maybe they are being used, maybe that they're just part of a machine. No, not British. A lot of people say that, but it's kind of because I've got a Kiwi accent. It's not Kiwi, it's not Australian. Yeah. But they don't have the perspective. They don't have that distance. And it's coming back to, as I was talking about in the start of that video, the self-awareness. And so they're caught in a bias vortex, and they're being prevented from having self-awareness and self-reflection. And with this, just with the whole, the white noise, that noise of the misinformation, the myth-information. Yeah, he's really good at doing that. And he should get more recognition. Do you make videos just a spectator? Or have anything where you can post and you could just, copy some of his videos? But yeah, I really want you to think about killology. This is the one thing that I didn't finish talking about, actually. So I talked about this in the Morphew case because why I had a really bad time after a while with that. I used to talk quite frankly about why I thought Barry Murphy had killed his wife Suzanne, and talk about what I saw with behavior and the reactions he was having and things like that, and how a man like that might be thinking and things. And then what happened was, a niche, an area of YouTube, say, began, and it was really sad because it was someone that I used to, it was actually someone I did reach out to, and I did email a lot back and forth and everything, but they started making videos that were very similar, I guess, to how EOA operates. Hypnotic music, hypnotic theming, and but they were bringing in ideas that were just really nasty to some people, that because they wanted to get people on side and really hating someone. You can do that with just the facts, and not by, they were making videos as if with a lot of speculation, with a lot of made up shit, all in the guise of, oh no, we're just this is all about Barry, not the other people. But they were actually hurting people by saying that a woman that was working for him had had all his babies. So basically what happens, her children learn about this case when they're a bit older, and they learn about these videos that were made about them, about being Barry Morphew's children and that sort of thing. And there's a way that people can that they manipulate people into hate by dehumanizing the person that is the object. So I think, what were they doing? Giving him a potato head and things like that. And it was very clever brainwashing. I mean, I think, look, it was really creative, really amazing editing. Just the creative juices that are flowing from these guys, really amazing. And I think, definitely they actually were coming from somewhere in the right place, but the way they would bring people in, and then people, rather than being able to see it as art and not real, were seeing it as real and spreading things like they were the truth. And it just really, I was so uncomfortable. And there were a lot of people going into that case doing that, some of them who have really big channels now, and who used family members and things to just create narratives and in the guise of investigating. And it was just because, they anyway, it was all about self-aggrandizing and things. And so it's kind of separated me out from that. And I really see it here with Delphi as well. So I often withdraw from these cases when things get to that point. I start off trying to fight the fight, and then it just gets so intense and so wild. It's not who I want to be and how I need to live. You need to guard your mental health. You need to guard yourselves, and you need to, advocate for yourself and for your well-being. And if there's a time, never feel like you can't step back. You don't need to be involved beyond a certain point, and sometimes you've just got to let it go. Yeah. Anyway, that was another 20 minutes of that. All right, so this time I really am going. I'm parched. I'd like a coffee. I'd like to take Carnivore Dog out for a walk before I go to work. And asparagus. I'm just going to say that all the time now. I quit paying attention many of times in this case. It's almost like we watched the waves of craziness come and go. The OGs, we have seen a lot, right? And some of the people too. They don't realize just how far back you go, what you know, what you remember. They try gaslighting you. Or, you can see that some people truly believe some stuff that they've been brainwashed with, right? They really believe it. And you just tell them a straight fact, and they call you an idiot. What do you know? You don't know. You've never been. Thanks, Rex. See you later. Yeah, it's nuts. Anyway, this might even be, I must be up to about my 1000th video. Yeah, I wonder. Actually, I'll have to take a notice. For 1,000, what should I do? I might put a post like that. I'll take you guys somewhere with me. How about that? I've got so many videos. I've got a lot of videos out and about that I just haven't posted. I don't think I'll ever get back to do them now, but anyway. Yep, walking very slowly with the old doggy. All right, guys, I really will go. Okay, take care. Thank you so much. Yeah, fight the good fight, and stand up for the facts, and stand up for Abby and Libby, and don't let people diminish how dare they, you want to get all Greta, right? How dare you? How dare you? But truly, how dare they? It's repulsive. See you later.